Hello world, and welcome to Salesforce World Tour Reimagined. We're streaming live from the International Convention Centre here in Sydney. And my name is Clyde Fernandez, and I lead an amazing platform team in Australia. And hopefully you're here to hear about driving digital transformation. So joining up on stage with me very shortly are three amazing friends, new friends that we've got acquainted over the last couple of days. And it's Amanda Smith, Stuart Hillard, and Richard Hilliard from Trobe University and ORIX. And they'll be joining me very shortly to talk about how they are driving digital transformation and transformation in general for their organizations. So when I think about digital transformation, and to be totally honest, I think digital is probably redundant now because by definition, most transformations are done leveraging digital technologies. But when I think about transformations, they begin and end with people. It's about driving value for people, helping their lives be better, and helping drive amazing experience for them. So whether that is a student, a researcher, a fleet manager or a truck driver, or an employee or a customer, digital transformation is all about driving value for them. And I'm super proud of the fact that we have had a customer 360 vision spanning over 20 years now. And to enable that vision, we have the Customer 360 platform. But this digital transformation is not easy. And as McKinsey has found out last year in their report, whilst over 80% of you have embarked, are currently in, or have completed a digital transformation, only 3% of organizations who do a digital transformation are actually achieving real benefits, completing that transformation journey, and maintaining that value on an ongoing basis. So in order to make this real, in order to share with you how other organizations are leveraging the Salesforce Customer 360 platform, I'd like to now invite up on stage Amanda Smith, who's part of the research organization in Trobe University, to share with you all how they are reimagining research at Trobe University. Amanda?
Thank you, Clyde. This presentation is about how La Trobe is transforming research management. So La Trobe University's main campus is located the north of Melbourne, with many campuses across Victoria. We also have a campus here in Sydney. We have over 30,000 students from over 100 countries. We have 3,000 staff, and our university rankings are increasing. We generate research income of about $76 million per year. However, like all universities, we need to increase these metrics. We need to increase research funding, and we need to, by undertaking excellent research, we will increasing our rankings. And by increasing our rankings, we'll attract more students, which will in turn increase funding. But how will we do this? This is our researcher, Professor Ashley Franks. This picture shows the many different systems he currently has to navigate to find funding opportunities, to apply for funding, and to develop proposals to manage his research projects. Securing funding for his research and managing his research projects is very difficult, as he has to navigate too many systems. And it's also not easy for him to reach out to get help to support him to navigate this process. To increase research income and other metrics at La Trobe, we have moved away from traditional research management and have adopted a professional services platform. We have worked with IBM Bluewolf and Salesforce to create Prime, the project for research information enablement. Prime provides our internal customers, researchers like Professor Franks, with a streamlined and automated research process, which will enhance services for our external customers. Through the Prime Researcher portal, Professor Franks can now forget about all the different systems he needed for his research. He now has a single sign-on to support him to manage the whole research process. He now has visibility, accountability, and can collaborate with his colleagues. He also has access to management reporting. This is the Prime Researcher portal using the community portal. This portal has been designed by a group of product owners, including Professor Franks and myself. Professor Franks can now easily search for a broad range of funding opportunities, including an integration with Research Professional, which opens up a large amount of grant funding opportunities. He will also have access to opportunities with customers and government tenders. Through Prime, he can easily apply for funding opportunities for grants or develop a tender proposal to bid for a research consultancy by developing a proposal, building a budget which provides suggested charge-out rates, obtaining approvals, and easily accessing advice and assistance for other teams through Chatter. He can now manage his successful research projects by collaborating with his team members, and he can also manage project milestones and tasks with reminders and automated notifications to the finance team to raise an invoice when he has met a milestone or provided a deliverable to a customer. Through the Prime Researcher portal, he can access finance and publication systems. Professor Franks will now also be able to access management reporting for his research group. So the benefits of Prime: the creation of transparency for researchers will increase efficiencies, enabling researchers to focus on their research. It also enables researchers to provide enhanced services to our external customers. Improved research performance analytics will lead to strategic investment and better decision making. It will increase rankings, which will lead to the increase in student numbers. It'll also increase research income. Thank you.
Thanks so much, Amanda. I mean, I wanted just to say a personal thank you. We're now reimagining things on the fly. So having you here to share with us what you've done, I know it's a different format, so I really appreciate everything you've done. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Clive.
Okay, so next up, I mean, you heard a use case or a research project from the Trobe University. So it's a particular segment. It's in the education sector, driving innovation, driving digital transformation around this idea of research. And it's quite an intrinsic part of their organisation to drive awareness, to attract students, and also attract funding. So I'm going to now pivot to somebody else. I'd like to bring up on stage Richard Hilliard, the GM of Technology and Innovation at Oryx Australia, who's going to share with us how he is driving digital transformation at his organisation, leveraging the Customer 360 platform. Richard.
Thanks very much, Clyde. It's great to be here at our Salesforce World Tour Reimagined. This is certainly a different experience from when I was standing in the same hall this time last year. My name is Richard Hilliard. I'm the General Manager of Technology and Innovation at Oryx Australia, so I have responsibility for the technology businesses within Australia and New Zealand. We run 2 Salesforce instances, one over here and another one across the ditch in New Zealand as well. So today, I want to talk to you about just a slither of the Customer 360 platform that Clive was talking about previously, and that is the mobile publisher platform, and specifically the Oryx Novated companion app that we launched recently in December. I'll talk to you about 3 things, just a little bit about Oryx, who we are and where we come from if you don't know, a bit about our story and how we came to arrive at this decision and to go down this path, and then finally I'll just give you a sneak preview of some of the functionality that we've built and where to from here. So Oryx is actually part of the Oryx group of companies, which is headquartered in Tokyo in Japan. And they operate in 36 countries and a whole range of business, not just fleet management like we are in Australia. They're involved in aviation, property funds, and so on and so forth. A huge organisation. Now in Australia, we're a little bit smaller than that. We're about 250 people right now, but at the same time, we've been around nearly 35 years. And from our sort of humble fleet beginnings, we've moved sort of broadly across into adjacent markets. So we have a successful novated leasing business where we can sell salary sacrifice vehicles, a well-established rental business as well across a whole range of asset classes, be they trucks, trailers, prime movers, and even passenger vehicles. So recently we've just launched a new product in partnership with Ola for rideshare drivers, where they can do a weekly lease. So if they want to participate in that platform, they can come to us and we'll let them have a car week to week so they don't need to use their own car or buy. Also, from a cultural perspective, we're very happy about some of the things that have happened in Oryx over the past few years. Just last week, we were very happy to announce that we received WGEA accreditation as an employer of choice for diversity and gender. And we're also very proud to have been recognised for 3 consecutive years in the AFR BOSS Most Innovative Companies Awards. This year, the nomination was for a new product to market called Voom. That was targeted at small business owners where they could go online, compare vehicles, compare pricing, and then complete an application process completely digitally. An Australian first in this space, and up and running for a little while now as well. So the world is, as we know, is changing at a crazy pace, and Oryx is certainly feeling that disruption. I'm sure many of you watching sort of feel it keenly as well. We see competitors entering from new markets in our space. Business models are morphing at either end of the value chain and being increasingly digitized. And as a technology executive, I guess there's a growing feeling that we need to do more with less. But one thing we feel hasn't changed at Oryx is that our customers and our future customers will always have the need to move people and goods from A to B. And I guess that is what Oryx's version of reimagining right now is like, how do we reimagine ourselves to be the fleet provider of the future? We knew we had a gap in our mobile application offering, particularly in the novated driver space, which we needed to address. We had a custom platform out there for a couple of years. However, it was only for Apple iPhone users, so we were potentially missing 50% of our market by not having an Android offering. We wanted to enable a better channel for transactions to take place for drivers where they could interact with us directly from the phone. And also have a channel where we could push knowledge and notifications out to those drivers which were pertinent to those leads. And also provide them with the opportunity for an additional support channel where they could contact us directly for help or information. Now, like many businesses of our age which have grown up organically, there's a high reliance on the traditional channels of email and phone. So in offering this additional channel to both sort of iOS and Android users, we were hopeful that we'd be able to deliver a better experience and something that was more consistent. If you're driving around and you need information right there, right now, sometimes email and phone can't be the best way. And finally, sort of from a technology perspective, when we were considering the approach and the way we were going to travel, whether to build another custom app or go down the mobile publisher path, what really piqued my interest was the ability for mobile publisher to take a Salesforce Lightning community and then embed that within the context of an app that you could publish to either the Apple Store or the Google Play Store. So let's take a quick look. So this is our standard log-on screen of the novated app. It's a customer community. In this instance, it's the iOS version. And what we've built are a series of graphs and sort of interfaces and widgets, if you like, where a driver can interact with the most important elements of their lease and get the information at their fingertips immediately. They can drill down to the next level where they can get specific details on categories, be that maintenance, tyres, insurance, fuel, that kind of thing. And we've also built integration into our core back-end fleet system where they're able to reach and pull through transactions in more detail should they need in real time. One of the beauties of this platform, though, relative to a community, is your ability to take advantage of the key features that are native in the phone. And in this example here, we've got a fuel receipt where a driver has purchased some fuel and they want to be reimbursed for it. So they can take a photo on their phone, upload it to us via the app, and that comes through as a case into our Service Cloud platform internally, where the operations team can execute that and turn it around quickly for the customer. So if you imagine, both from a process perspective relative to some of the traditional channels and a technical perspective about the amount of integration we would have had to do previously, there are significant benefits there in terms of what the platform offers us. So as I say, this went live Australian first in December. And I'm also proud to announce that yesterday we went live in beta in the Android store for our fleet management, our second app as well. And from here on, really we see the sky's the limit in terms of apps. I talked about some of the other channels in rideshare and SME, and over the coming weeks and months, we're really excited about where we can push the mobile publisher platform and where we can deliver more benefit to our customers. Thank you.
Now that was fantastic. Thanks, Richard. If you don't mind, I wouldn't mind now unpacking some of this, going a bit detail, because I'm sure everyone out there is really keen to understand a bit more detail about the solutions and the products you've implemented, both at Oryx and at Latrobe. So, if you don't mind, I wouldn't mind if you stay up right here, and I'm going to invite up on stage Stuart Hillard from Trobe University, their CTO. So thank you, Stuart, for joining us. Thank you very much.
Clyde.
Thank you. And Julian Redwood, who's one of our principal platform solution engineers, who is going to join us and give us a perspective from an internal view. So, guys, thank you firstly for coming. Really appreciate everything you've done, for being so flexible in terms of changing, as you said, from last year to this year's approach. So really appreciate everything you've done. It's fantastic. So my first question is to you. You're CTO of a pretty remarkable university from my hometown, Melbourne. Go Melbourne. Are all universities the same? Do they all have the same technology stack? Are they having all the same issues? Explain, I guess, compare and contrast for us.
Yeah, great question, Clyde, and hello everyone out there. It's great to be in Sydney today. So for university, operating models are generally similar, and they're old institutions, so their business processes are similar, the technology stack is similar, all of that is very interesting. And because they're old, actually Latrobe's a young university still at 52 years of age, and it's actually younger than Oryx. So that was quite interesting.
I like that. It sounds young, right?
Yeah.
I like
so,
it.
But what it means, though, has been around for a while. We have legacy process, legacy technology, and by default, that means it's very hard to change the operating models. It's slow.
So you've got a legacy stack, legacy processes, legacy methodologies, and you went out to market and you chose these two organizations called Salesforce for their platform, non-legacy, and you engaged IBM Blue Wolf, non-legacy, non-traditional. How did that come by those two selections?
Great question again, because one of the things that we should call out is the work that we're doing, building a research ecosystem, is a first in the world on that. And Latrobe has traditionally pushed a few boundaries. We were first in the world on a finance system with another vendor, and first to take our student management system to SaaS in the Southern Hemisphere. And from that, we actually really learned as we went through that process and brought a lot of those learnings to the project. In terms of choosing Salesforce, we wanted to challenge our business model, and we needed a contemporary platform that we could scale, that we can pivot quickly, have agility in our decision making, and adapt the processes quickly. The Salesforce platform capability was a consideration as we plan for the future, so it meet our immediate needs, but we can look at the cognitive services going down the track and look at use cases outside research as well as we go forward. The choice of IBM Blue Wolf was specific around Salesforce deep experience, but also what IBM in terms of its community can bring and its research community as well. So one of the first pieces that we did in that partnership was work with IBM and actually develop a research journey map, and that has been critical in the success of the project. We also work through a non-traditional contract, which is to the benefit of both parties. And an example is that as we get to the end of this, we're talking about how we develop a research accelerator for the rest of the university higher ed community.
That's fantastic. So an innovative platform, an innovative partner, and an innovative contract vehicle. This is quite a few firsts, right? So it's fantastic. So what was the implementation process like? What did you do? What worked well? What didn't? What were the lessons learned?
Yeah, I think it's important, again, to remember through those other projects that we did bleed a bit and we did learn, right? So one of the things that we did was, the first thing is we brought a detailed, deep discovery session to the front of that project. And what that allowed us to do was work and understand the platform. We were able to assess our partner and our ability to work with them, and we were actually able to assess our own internal capability, because we really wanted to drive agile ways of working and new ways of working and human-centered design in this. This means that our researchers are actually product owners. They used to go into meetings with agendas and papers, and instead they're actually there at stand-ups and understanding the power of stand-ups and changing the way that they work. That deep discovery phase meant that, and one of the learnings from it is we actually had some of our own people opt out at the end of it and go, I'm not quite ready to work in this way. So that was something we didn't expect, but it was a great learning. And we've applied that sort of blueprint to another project and it's seen a similar experience. By the time we hit the implementation, we were ready to run. So we moved into the sprints. We've done 7 sprints and we're just in the process of looking at the cutover now. And last week, basically the Prime project was presented to our senior leadership group, which is the VC and all our DVCs and all our heads of schools and senior exec group. And what it ended up doing was getting a standing ovation because they're so excited and they're so engaged about the outcomes.
Now, as an ex-maths nerd, I love the name Prime. I mean, it's a fantastic name for a project. What I liked what you said, technology and partnerships, it's not just about that project, but what you've done is you've driven a cultural reformation within your organisation to really genuinely think about how do you do things differently.
Yeah, and the project team, one of the foundations for that, La Trobe's been undergoing a cultural transformation for a few years. We actually have a well-documented cultural strategy. We have qualities which have behaviours documented, so we know what goods it looks like. And that project team, they see themselves as one team, irrespective of if they're IT staff, the academic research product champions, the business leaders like Amanda, and they just get on and get it done.
Fantastic. I was at a session early today with IBM Blue Wolf talking to another customer, a New Zealand customer, very good white goods customer, and they were talking to them about employee experience. And maybe the next chapter for your evolution with us might be looking at your employee experience and your student experience. So thanks very much. Let me pivot now. So you've been listening to this. We've all heard the story before. This implementation approach, I guess, Oryx, you've got this long, lumpy project, big bang approach is probably the way you'd go about it?
I've been there, done it, I'm not going back again.
Okay.
No, I run a sort of, within the technology team, we run an agile process as well. But in this particular instance, in embarking on something, it was a bit of a leap of faith, frankly. So it's a brand new product, like fresh in. I think it was beta sort of early last year.
It was fresh off the boat, yes.
Yes. So we knew we were kind of early adopters, which is kind of not normally my style, but there we go. So we undertook a technical assessment there because we were considering whether to go down the mobile publisher route or a custom build and then integrate. And what we found after that 2 to 3 weeks was, not only did it work, but we were able to deliver a customer experience we were happy with in terms of what it looked like and how it was going to function in the hand on a device. And once we'd done that, we quickly moved on to saying, well, we've got a number of channels we can focus on, and we narrowed in on the novated channel, which I discussed previously about having a gap there. And we identified the MVP about what are the key initial processes that we got. There's much more we can do, and we intend to. But to give us something that we could get out there quickly in the hands of drivers and start getting that feedback from drivers was really critical to us.
So trying to get immediate feedback, iterate, improve the process, and keep driving up.
That's right. Yeah.
Fantastic. So you said leap of faith.
Yeah.
So, why did you take this approach then?
I was really intrigued by the something brand new, and that we wouldn't have to build something else. I run a pretty small team. Yep. And we're focused on data, we're focused on cloud infrastructure, we're focused on Salesforce and integration. So taking on custom development and other apps is sort of not optimal for us. So when Mobile Publisher presented itself as an option where you could take a community and put it in an app and use config and use the team, it was something we really wanted to pursue and see if there was value in that. So we're happy with how that went.
I love the fact that you said you identified a gap and you went after that gap. We're doing very similar things, and watch your space. There's more stuff coming out on the platform in the near future. So you had a unorthodox implementation process. You've had some good returns. You had some good learnings. Can you share with everybody out there, what exactly are you using from Salesforce?
Okay, so sure. So we have not bought the whole bill of goods by any stretch. Like we're a core CRM users, and that's where we started. We have about half of our business now is either working within a sales cloud or service cloud environment where we're doing lead and opportunity management. And this year our focus is to push very hard in the case management side of things. I talked in my presentation about heavy reliance on email and phone as channels. So we see some real sort of process improvements and ability to do things way better in terms of where we go. So we'll push on that this year. But apart from that, we've really taken the baby steps down the communities path and the mobile publisher, and are going to extend from there into other products and channels.
So where to from here for you?
As I said, I think we need to get sort of the footprint embedded within the Service Cloud space. I think the way we manage and look after our customers across all our channels needs to get better, so we'll start there as well. But we've got 2 apps out there now. I think very quickly we can turn our attention to maybe a third or a fourth there, which could focus either on those rideshare drivers or the small business owners in the Vroom product.
Fantastic. Thanks a lot. Look, I think all of you would really agree with me that we talk about trailblazers all the time. And these are 2 really amazing examples of trailblazers who are not only taken our platform, but partner with an amazing organization, IBM Blue Wolf, to actually transform their organization, not just from a technology point of view, but actually from a method, from a culture, and actually driving this changed agent within their organization to change, to become a new way of doing work in their organization. So firstly, thank you all for coming up. So just before you go, Julian, you're up here.
Clyde.
Why are you here?
It's a good question. Why
Okay, let me ask a question of you. So Julian is one of our star principal platform solution engineers. Now, Julian, you heard us talking ad nauseum about this Customer 360 platform, helping organizations like Trobe and ORIX drive their transformation. You're an employee of Salesforce. We keep getting these awards for being, best employee of the year, employee of the year. We get accolades for being most innovative. What's your experience internally working as a Salesforce employee, leveraging some of the innovations that we talked about here?
Great question, Clive. Thanks. So at Salesforce, everything we do as an organization, as a business, even the success we succeed, has been based on the Customer 360 platform. Some of the tools I use day to day is all based on the Customer 360 platform. We've built apps in Heroku to do activity tracking. We've built apps on the platform to do travel approvals as well. So all those tools that I use day to day is built on the Customer 360 platform.
Not that we're using travel approvals
Not at the moment, no.
At the moment.
We've even used things like Quip to collaborate together. So if we need to collaborate, with a wider team around activities or potentially opportunities or even great events like this, we use Quip as well. Essentially, we use the same products that our customers use day to day to succeed as an organization.
Fantastic. Look, everyone out there, I hope you really enjoyed what these guys have to say. It's all about how do you make it real. I mean, we can talk about things theoretically, but listening to customers and getting customers to share with you their journeys, their innovation is what really matters. So thank you so much. We're still shaking hands. And Jules, over
Thank
here.
you.
Thanks a lot, guys. Thank you.
Cheers.
Okay, so one of the things I want to do is make sure you all understand that we are here for you. And one of the most important things that we really, really enjoy and value is your feedback. So please jump online, have a look at the link right now, and submit your response and have an opportunity to win a pass to Dreamforce. But more important than that, much more important than that, if you want to rock one of these amazing Salesforce platform t-shirts, please be the first 10 people to reach out to my team in platform, organize a meeting with them, and actually they'll come along to that meeting with one of these t-shirts. Okay, with that, it's thank you for all of you, and thank you everyone here.